What up YouTube, this is Rather Be Welding coming at you again with another homemade project. Today we have this mini bike chopper bike. One of my good friends who goes to the scrap metal place almost every day, he found this at the scrap metal place and he got this for me. I don't know how much this was, but he gave this to me a while ago and I'm finally pulling it out and I'm finally going to remotorize this thing. So first off, the motor is a 50cc two-stroke motor. I don't want, if I do fix this thing up, I do not want to have that small motor on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the motor off, which is actually my interest right now, is the motor. Take the motor off, see if I can get it running, and put it on something else. And then eventually take a 3 horsepower or maybe a 6.5 horsepower, which would be great, and motorize this thing with a 6.5 horsepower. So, first, let's see if we can take the motor off and see if we can get it running. Okay, so I took the motor off. I took the motor apart because there's so much water in it and so much grime in it. I had to take it all apart, let it dry out, and I'll scrape out the dirt and grime later. This is all moldy and shit. Something I noticed, this thing produces electricity. So, that is awesome. I don't know what I'm going to power. Maybe it's like a flashlight or a horn. As you can see, there's already a light and a horn and a crap ton of wiring that goes to nowhere. So, this thing, obviously it looks like it used to have a horn. Here's the buttons. There's the light. There's on off. Here's the lights. Here's the kill switch. And this thing also has a hydraulic or pneumatic. I don't know what you call them. Brakes. It's not a brake line. It's you pour oil in here. And the oil travels down there. I don't know what you call them. I think it's pneumatic or hydraulic brakes. I don't know what you call them. But and I'm also seeing that where is it? That is bent. That is bent, and also which side is it on? It's stuck. And also the rim is bent somewhere, right here. It's bent right here, so I'll just have to pound that back out and hammer this back out and even it out. And here are all the pieces to the motor. So, hopefully this thing is gonna run, and hopefully, hopefully the motor, because I want to put the motor on. I kind of want to make a, what do you call those things? I want to make a scooter, like a mini scooter to ride into town, because I'm tired of riding my bike into town. And then with this frame, I'm gonna put a 3 horsepower motor on here, or a 6.5. A 6.5 would be awesome, and make it into a chopper. One thing, it's missing a seat, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. So anyway, I'm gonna try to put this motor back on. It's dark, so I'm gonna let this dry out overnight and put it back in the morning and try to see if it runs. Okay, I finally finished putting this thing back together. I had to replace the carburetor with a chainsaw carburetor, and that's a chainsaw gas tank. I mounted the motor onto this block of wood because I couldn't mount it onto anything else. So let's see if this thing will start. You may want to turn down your volume. Ooh. Ah. Almost. is loud. Damn. That is loud. Sweet. This thing runs beautifully. The only bummer is it's extremely loud. The reason? There's a giant gaping hole on the side of the muffler. There was like a little attachment that came off there, and you know, it's like two different mufflers, but that fell off, so there's just a giant gaping hole there. That's why it's so loud. But anyway, this thing runs great. Now, all we have to do is find a bicycle to put this thing on, so we can make like a little homemade moped or something like that. I don't know, because this thing is under 50 cc and it has this weird gear reduction thing, this thing can totally be like a moped. I've seen this little motor power go-kart. So yeah, this thing has power. But yeah, so let's find a bicycle to put this thing on. Okay, after searching hell and high water, I could not find a BMX bike to fit that motor on a bike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Viper bike, which I haven't ridden this thing in like a year. So what I'm going to do is, because the motor is only attached to the seat, just remove the seat, remove everything that's associated with the motor, and take it off of this bike, and then put that motor on this bike, and then get a different BMX bike and put that motor on that BMX bike, and hopefully do it better, because this thing was really just, you know, not work. It worked for a little bit, and then the cable snaps, and you gotta fix it, and then, you know, blah blah blah. So hopefully I'll be able to do it better. But so this is gonna be the new 50cc moped bike. So what I wanted to do was go to Tractor Supply. This was the original sprocket and chain. This was on the motor. This was the chain. This was on the wheel. What I wanted to do was just go to Tractor Supply, buy this chain. I have no idea the size. It's not 30 and it's not 35 roller chain. It's like somewhere in between. But so I could not find this chain anywhere. I know I could probably order this, but I do not have patience to wait around for a couple of weeks or a month for this project. This project is already taking forever. So what I'm doing is I'm improvising. I bought this giant sprocket. This was $20, and then I found this sprocket that perfectly fits on here. I just kind of have to weld it on because it's kind of just hanging on there right now. But and then I gotta go buy more number 40 roller chain. This is a number 40 sprocket, and it perfectly works for it. So, and why I wanted to use this chain and sprocket is because this is the exact same size as the one right there. This is just off a different bike, but it's the exact same one. Look at this. This slides right on there perfectly, no play whatsoever, and all I had to do was weld that onto there, and then I could have this sprocket like a regular bicycle where it only turns one way and it locks in the other direction, or yeah, that way, whatever. So that's why I wanted to use this sprocket, but I couldn't find chain, so I'm scrapping that size chain. I'm going for the number 40 roller chain and that. And when I bought this sprocket, I went to Tractor Supply. I originally thought I had a lot more chain than this, so I got to go back and buy more. So hopefully this is going to work, and hopefully this is that sprocket's not going to be too big. It's not going to be too small. I have no idea how powerful this thing is or how fast it is, so I'm just kind of winging this as I go. If I have to, I'll just replace that sprocket I bought on the wheel and just bite $20 or however much that cost. So hopefully I'll be able to put that motor on here easily. What I want to do is just leave this right here. This is fine right here. Because that motor is so small, just cut this out right here and then weld another bar that goes like to here and then it goes straight up so I can fit the motor right here. So hopefully that's gonna work. Hopefully the chain's not gonna be too long and, you know, fall off a lot. So otherwise that would be a big bummer. So finally this project is starting to come together, and I'm finding parts that'll work. So hopefully it works. Let's put it together. Okay, so I took the motor off. I took everything off. I redid the frame a little bit. As you can see, you know, I took the pipe that was going off of, you know, from there, and I put it right here, and another pipe going up here. So the motor's gonna be able to fit in here, hopefully. And I took that sprocket and I put it on the already existing. Can you see that? Where's the flashlight? Is there a flashlight around here? I don't know. I can't find one. But hopefully you can see that. There was original. That's the original sprocket of the bike. What I did was I took my Dremel tool and like 2 hours of just taking Dremel tool bits and one after one, just grinding out that thing until this slid on, and then I welded it onto here. So this thing turns that way, or spins this way, but not the other way. So therefore it's gonna operate like a normal bike. So after I built the frame, I put the motor on, and I had a really dumbass moment where it's actually easier to show you. So let me show you. Okay, I just temporarily put the motor on just to show you guys. This is what it's gonna look like. You know, here's a tiny little sprocket, and here's the chain. But the thing that really pisses me off, look at how far the motor is sticking out. That is way more than half of the motor sticking out. That's like all the motor sticking out. So it's gonna be a little awkward to ride, you know, and it's gonna look really weird. So that kind of yeah, that's not making me happy. So I don't know what to do. I'm kind of thinking, because I'm actually second guessing myself, because I'm thinking, what in the world am I doing? Am I really putting a 50cc motor just with a tiny little sprocket to a 6-inch sprocket to a 20-inch tire? I wouldn't even set up a 3 horsepower for that. So yeah, kind of not. I'm seriously just winging this as I go. So yeah, if this doesn't work, what I'm gonna do is put the motor in the middle and then add a secondary shaft right here, and it's gonna go from there to there and then move over and there to there. So I'm gonna be able to have a small, big sprocket. So if this thing doesn't have power, so I'm just gonna attach the motor like it is right there and hope that it works. If not, shoot, you know, put the secondary sprocket right here, and then have 2 other sprockets over there. So I'm gonna put the motor on, and we're gonna see if this is gonna work or not.